Check the axial movement of the connecting rod big end bore. Now, the main bearing shell maintenance procedure. Prepare the necessary tools for disassembly. Next, remove the side bolt cap and attach the hydraulic jacks to the side bolts. Raise the pressure to both jacks simultaneously to the specified pressure. Loosen the nuts. Open the relief valve of the pump and release the pressure slowly. Remove the hydraulic jacks and the nuts. Do not remove the side bolts until after the hydraulic ram is set. Attach the hydraulic jacks onto the hydraulic ram. Raise the hydraulic ram until the jacks reach the main bearing bolts. Apply the specified pressure and loosen the nuts. Open the pump's release valve and gradually lower the pressure. Loosen the nut and attach the main bearing cap tool. Now remove the side bolts. Move the hydraulic pump lever downward to the lower main bearing cap slowly until it stops. When using the hydraulic rams, do not exceed the maximum allowable pressure. Remove the lower main bearing shell from the cap carefully, making sure not to scratch it. Insert the main bearing shell removing pin into the crank pin oil hole. Be careful not to let the tool slip out of the hole. Turn the crankshaft slowly until the pin touches the upper bearing shell. Then turn the crankshaft forward 180 degrees. Remove the upper bearing shell. Inspect the back surfaces of the upper and lower bearing shells for fretting and the inner surfaces for scratches. Now let's reassemble the main bearing shell. After cleaning the surfaces of the bearing shells, apply lubricating oil and press the bearing shell with care. Make sure it's aligned with the housing. Fit the bearing removing pin and make sure it faces the shell's butt. Then turn the crankshaft until the bearing butt is aligned with the housing. Remove the pin when the bearing shell is properly aligned. Lower the main bearing cap and use bare hands to check for scratches or residue on the crankshaft journal or main bearing cap. Check the lower bearing shell, main bearing cap. Fit the lower shell into the cap and apply lubricating oil to the inside of the lower bearing shell with your bare hands. Raise the main bearing cap. Screw the side bolt in completely, then turn it back 1/2 turn. Next, set the hydraulic jacks. Raise the hydraulic pressure to the specified pressure. When the nut has contacted the surface, tighten it by tapping the jack handle with a hammer. Tighten the side bolt the same way as the main bearing cap bolts. After completing the work, clean and inspect the crankcase, then run the lubricating oil priming pump. Check the lubrication conditions. Check if the crankshaft turns easily. After these operations are completed, inspect each part and check that there are no abnormalities and there are no dangerous materials in the area. Carry out a dry run. If no abnormalities are found, after that, touch each part with your bare hands to make sure there are no abnormalities. After turning off the engine, remove the side covers and measure the temperature of the bearings. At the same time, touch them with your bare hands to make sure there are no. This concludes the inspection and maintenance procedures. Be sure to perform these procedures referring to the maintenance manual. Also, take note of the following. Be aware of safety clothing. Correct understanding and pursuance of signals. Keep control of tools. Keep measured data. Use genuine parts. Look for tally marks. Tighten to the specified tightening torque. Tighten to the specified hydraulic pressure. Keep the correct maintenance intervals. For your safety, warning labels and caution labels are posted on the machines. On the labels, there is important safety information. Read them thoroughly and use extreme caution while performing maintenance and operating procedures.